As Hanukkah approaches, I must ask you an important question. How do you light your Hanukkah? Do you light one candle the first night? Or do you light all 8 candles? It seems funny, right? But there's a good reason for this question. 2 rabbinic sages, Hillel and Shammai, debated how to light a Hanukkah. Shammai believed we should kindle all 8 lights on the first night, and that each night we should decrease by 1, leaving us with only 1 light on the final night. Can you imagine? This way of lighting would display how many days of the holiday were left. It also connected with the rituals of Sukkot, when the number of daily sacrifices decreased over the course of the holiday. So it made some sense, right? Now, Rabbi Hillel had his own opinion. Hillel instructed that we should start by kindling 1 light on the first night and increase in light until we fill our Hanukkah with light on the final night of Hanukkah. The Talmud explains Hillel's reasoning using this teaching. 1 elevates to a higher level in matters of sanctity. 1 does not downgrade. This teaching inspires us to increase in holiness, not only in lighting our Hanukkah, but in the way we live our lives, honoring our sacred call to bring light into darkness. On a mission to increase light, we strive to increase loving kindness, compassion, and respect for all humanity. We dedicate our time, energy, and resources to creating a peaceful world where people can feel safe, embraced, and cherished for the unique light that they bring into this world. Part of bringing light into darkness is acknowledging the darkness, even when it's painful. The increasing normalization of anti-Semitism in America and the increase in anti-Semitic incidents in recent years, as documented by the Anti-Defamation League, is deeply concerning. As Deborah Lipstadt points out, anti-Semitism flourishes in a society that is intolerant of others, be they immigrants or racial and religious minorities. No healthy society harbors extensive anti-Semitism or any other form of hatred. Living in a country infected by hate and intolerance, we must uplift our values of inclusivity, understanding, and openness. We cannot ignore anti-Semitism. We must stand up against it, and we must fight against hatred of all kinds. Hanukkah teaches us to increase in light. To do so, we must believe in the power of our voices to make a difference. We are not powerless against hate. We must call out hate and engage in meaningful dialogue about anti-Semitism. CEO of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, explains, biases and slurs might seem inconsequential, but if left unchecked, they can progress to sustained harassment, systemic discrimination, acts of violence, mass unrest, and ultimately the kind of brutal conflagration that we all shudder to imagine. As tempting as it might be to ignore hate or treat it as somebody else's problem, we do that at our own peril. When we read about anti-Semitic incidents, when we hear about them in the news, when we witness them firsthand, We must feel called to take a stand in an appropriate way, understanding that anti-Semitism, hatred, and prejudice concern us all. We draw inspiration from the words of Dr. Joachim Prinz, who dedicated his life to supporting the civil rights movement. Serving as president of the American Jewish Congress, he represented the Jewish community as an organizer at the 1963 March on Washington. He spoke just before Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Prince states that in the face of discrimination, the most urgent, the most disgraceful, the most shameful, and the most tragic problem is silence. We cannot be silent. We must speak up. Now, when responding to anti-Semitism, bigotry, and hatred, some of us may not always feel confident in knowing what to do or what to say. The more we educate ourselves and ask questions and seek the knowledge and resources to stand up against anti-Semitism, the better equipped we will be to make a difference, and the more confident we will feel in engaging in meaningful dialogue that needs to happen. Having discussions about anti-Semitism and other forms of hate with our friends, our families and neighbors, community members, and others that we may encounter is crucial to this work. Let's have these conversations. Let's find the courage to talk about these difficult topics in hopes of bringing that light into darkness. Another way to shine light into darkness is by celebrating our Judaism, by uplifting the teachings and the spirit of Torah as we pursue justice, loving kindness, and peace. As one of my greatest teachers and mentors, Rabbi Rick Kellner, states, when we shine more light on who we are, and we dispel the myths of hatred, our strength and our courage inspired by the Maccabees will prevail. It will. I am very proud of the many ways our community has celebrated our Judaism in public spaces together. Together, we have marched in the MLK and Pride parades, as Heschel taught, praying with our feet. Our TBE community has participated in an interfaith social justice group called FAST. Through our participation in FAST, we have joined together with 47 other houses of worship to tackle some of the issues that are bringing pain and suffering to members of our own communities. There are 2 synagogues taking part in FAST. So as I said, 47 houses of worship, and there are just 2 synagogues. And that shows how vital it is that we continue to share our Jewish values and teachings with this group, taking part in the conversation of how we can help our community using the spirit of our tradition, engaging in interfaith work, and building inspiring relationships as we share what we have in common and celebrate our differences. Our community has also been praying and studying Torah at restaurants, parks, and even right next to the downtown market. A few weeks ago, when we prayed our Shabbat morning service next to the market, I felt a deep sense of holiness when we sing the words of Shema. We sing these words out in public with people walking all around us. Some of us wore talis, prayer shawls. Some of us wore a kippah on our head. We held our prayer books in our hands, and we shared our Judaism with others who walked by and saw us praying. Before this service, right before it started, I had mentioned to my friend that I was thirsty and I had wished that I had brought some water with me. A few minutes into the service, a person came up and brought me water, a person I had never met. And this person commented that watching our community prepare to pray together had brought her so much joy that she wanted to help out in any way that she could and add to our prayer. And I will never forget that. That was so, so meaningful. We have even had people stop to listen to our music for a few moments, just interested in what we are doing. I believe in these moments of celebrating our Judaism publicly, we are shining light into darkness by sharing who we are and presenting a positive image of what Judaism is. People coming together to celebrate the gift of life and working together toward improving the world through the spirit and wisdom of our tradition. I pray that we will continue to celebrate our Judaism in our synagogue and outside our synagogue walls, as we not only share our traditions with the community, but we engage in conversations with others, learning their traditions and joining together to change this world. I also hope that as a congregation, we will work together to learn more, to deepen our knowledge about anti-Semitism and what we can do to combat it, because there are many things that we can do. May Hanukkah inspire us all to bring that light into darkness, even when it's hard, knowing that we are not alone and that this is a sacred mission that we have the blessing of doing together. Shabbat Shalom.